Hi, thanks for joining me for this demo. We're going to be going through some of the deliverables you can expect when we do a BLK, like a scan of your site. So what you're going to get for delivery is a recap project, that's these two files here, and an LGS file. So I'm going to show you in AutoCAD what the recap project looks like. And to get this into your AutoCAD, you just go to Insert, Point Cloud Reference, and it inserts just like a block. So just drop it at 0, 0, 0. Coordinate systems are all maintained then. So what you end up with is, what we're looking at here is a top-down view of the scan. So we're looking at the ceiling. If I orbit this a little bit, you can now see that we're seeing something up the walls, and you can see a little bit more. But when you're dealing with clouds, you really have to cut them down to what you're actually after, because looking at the entire cloud is just overwhelming. So I'm going to crop this to be a couple feet off the floor, just so that we can see the walls and some of the features on the site. And we have full control over the size of the points and the color that we're using if we want to switch to something else, or we want to make it all one color. Oftentimes the scan color is the easiest because you know kind of what you're looking for. If that wall you're looking for was red, look for red in the site, or if you're looking for a pipe or something. So go back to plan mode here. Another thing we can do if I uncrop that is I'll recrop it through there, and then we can tip it forward. And now we can see a cross section of that room. I'm going to change the color just so that it stands out a little more. Yeah, so here's the ceiling. There's a light fixture. You can see the floor. There's a step up to this storage. That's the fridge, I believe, one of the med cards. So as we go through, you can see there's a chair, the desk, and part of a monitor came through on this. And here's a transition from one room to another, so you can see the doorway pretty clearly. It catches the jambs, the actual doorway and the jamb and the baseboard. Clarity is really good on these scans. So if we want to focus in on one specific feature, maybe I'll do that here. We'll go to top-down view. I'm going to switch it back to the scan colors. I know that along this wall there's a group of pharmacists' chairs. So we're just going to zoom in on one of their desks. We'll say pick this one here. So there's the desk. And if we cut it down even more, now we've got just that desk and that computer in the scan. And you can take measurements in here. Obviously, okay, you can measure anything you want. If you want to measure the desk height, 850 millimeters, or if you want the width of the desk. And you can draw geometry on top of it. You can add line work, say from the corner here to a corner over here. And it stays in the 3D world, just like the cloud does. So working with the clouds in AutoCAD, it's fairly simple. You just need to remember, cut the cloud down, because if I uncrop this whole thing, now we're looking at the entire thing, and if you zoom in, it's just a mess of points. So you really need to crop things so you can see exactly what you're looking at. Before we switch to the other program, I'm going to show you one more thing. If I crop this just to be, say, a few inches above the floor, and we switch to top-down view, so we're seeing the walls a little bit and mainly the floor. And if I switch to an elevation view, and I can actually control my min-max on here, and I've found that on this particular site, the highest point is 1.15 meters above our datum, and the lowest is 107. So here's the color spectrum of height. So if we look at the scan, we've got a high point in the floor right here, and we've got several low points here and here and in here. And if we take a measurement from on the floor, say here to this purple, we can see it drops by 34 millimeters. So it really quickly identifies your highest and lowest points in your floor. If there's any structural issues with this, you can tell right away, like there's a high spot here, obviously something is going on. Because in a matter of a meter, it drops almost an inch. If we want, we could actually take a cross section of that. and have a look at that. Yeah, so it's fairly obvious that something is going on the floor there. Okay, so now we're going to switch to the LGS file. So I'm going to open that up. This is Leica's proprietary format. So this is the scan, and it's showing a truncated version, so just the walls are showing up, and each red dot represents a scan location. So if I double click into one of those scan locations, it actually shows the high-res image that the scanner captured. And we can jump from one dome to another, simply double clicking. And the really neat thing about this program is we're looking at high-res pictures, but there's also LiDAR data embedded in the background. So if I wanted to take a measurement on the picture itself, you can see my picking tool realizes that there's a plane change there. So if I pick right at the corner here and go to the corner here, there's the distance. Or we can measure floor to ceiling height. If I just pick anywhere to anywhere, it gives a delta Z 2436. And again, you just double click the domes to jump from dome to dome. And if you want to zoom in on something, pretty neat to have. Jump up here. This scan was taken on top of a table, so kind of a better view. The other neat thing about this program is we can click here and switch out of picture mode and into cloud mode. So now we're back in cloud mode. So this is the point cloud itself, which is going to match the AutoCAD recap file exactly, point for point. And then if you ever want to jump back into high HD picture mode, you just double click a dome and you're back. Really good for looking at a site without actually being there. Anyway, that concludes it. Thank you.